Okay, you've decided that you want to use Squarespace to build your website. Now you have to make a decision before you even get started. Do you want to use a Squarespace template? Do you want to create your own template, or do you want to start with a blank template? In this video, I'm going to go over how to create your own template. I have many videos for the other two options, but this video is all about how to go the route of creating your own template. So I'm here at squarespace.com/templates, and you'll see there's a couple questions they're going to ask us before we get started. You can skip them, but for the sake of this video, I'm going to answer them, and we are going to pretend to be a consulting business for this example. So it says, what is your site about? Let's click here, and I will scroll down to find a consulting. We'll go to next. Now it's asking, what do you want to do with your website? Let's see, I want to, as a consultant, promote and sell my services. I want to offer a contact form. We'll send invoices, publish a blog or other media. That sounds good. Next. Okay, how would you like to start building your website? Now here is where you have to make that decision. Do you want to go with their templates, or are we going to build our own? So here we're going to build with AI. Now it's thinking based on the questions that we just answered. Right here you just saw it give us a little sample of what some text might be for our consulting services. Over here on the right, let's give this a name. So let's call it, we're just going to go super basic, website consulting. Perfect. So what is your brand personality? Okay, you get to pick one, and basically the difference here, it's going to change up the fonts for you. So do you want some playful fonts, or do you want quirky fonts, sophisticated fonts? Let's go with, you know what, let's go playful today. We'll go next. Now let's build our homepage. So in my opinion, this will be an easier process if you kind of have an idea already of what you want to include on your website. If you just come here and you're like, I don't know, like that sounds good, you'll end up with something. But if you want to be more intentional with your website, it will be much more helpful if you have a good idea of what you're trying to communicate through your website. I always say your homepage should be a mix of a little bit of everything that's on your website to give people a preview in one spot. When they land on your homepage, if they scroll, they can get a good idea of what you're all about. So for that, I want to click the intro section. You can see they have recommendations too. Products, we're not going to sell products. We do want services. I'll do an about section. I like to have an about section for a couple reasons. Because it's actually, about pages are the second most visited page on websites, usually after the home page. So if we can give people a little preview of who you're about, people want to know who they're going to hire and just learn a little bit more about you. So if we can give them that information here on the home page, that's a great place to start. It also helps bulk up your home page. The more text that you have, the better, usually for SEO purposes. So that's why I like to include about here. A social section. I might want my social icons, but maybe not like a whole social grid, so I'm gonna not use that one. A form section, get people to get in touch, hire us for our consulting services, and a footer. Okay, next up, we get to pick our pages. So this is where I said if you had something in mind before you just come to this process, it would be so much easier. I always tell my clients when I'm working one-on-one with website design clients, the first place that we start is to pick their website navigation. Before we even sign a contract and start working together, we agree on what their page navigation and the structure of their website is going to be. That way we know exactly what we're getting into, we are in agreement on that, and we have a solid starting point. And I think you should do the same here. Even if you are building a website with AI, you should go into it knowing these are at least the pages that I want to have on my website. So for this, I'm going to take their recommendations here. I'm going to have home, about, services, and contact. Click next. Now choose a color palette. Okay, they have some recommendations here. If you have a brand color palette, we can change that later when we get into the site styles, but here you can pick one to get started. Again, I went with the playful font, so I'm going to choose a playful color palette. I see it's recommending this one for me, which is kind of funny because these are like my own Designing the Row brand colors. So let's do that. If they had a hot pink option, I would pick it, but I'm not seeing any hot pink, so we're going to go with this. Next up, the font pairings. Again, when I picked the playful, it showed me some fonts, but let's see. I like these playful options. Again, these can be changed later, but to make it simple to build your own template, this is how we are getting into Squarespace. Okay, now the Blueprint AI is building our website. And here we go. It has generated a website template custom to you based on everything that we just put in. And by custom to you, I mean custom to the decisions that I just made. But if you go through this process, it will generate the pages and the content that you want. I think this is a great option. If you're a little bit nervous to start with the blank template, this might be a great option for you compared to the Squarespace pre-made templates, because often I think that those are great. They might look nice because they've been designed and styled, but they don't often give you the pages and the content structure that you might need or want. And I often see people just filling in the blanks when maybe those aren't the best blanks for them to fill in. So this is a great way to build your own template with what you are going to need for your brand or business. So now that we have the bones of our template, we can go in and customize it. I always like to start with the branding first, go into the site styles, add in your fonts and your colors, and then style the header, put in a logo, rearrange some of the layout if you'd like. I always like to get those things set so then when we're adding the content to our pages, it all is on brand and ready to go, and we can design it with what it's going to look like in the end. And we're not going in later and adding colors and then having to go back to all the pages that we just created and change things around. So there is a method to my madness. That is why I do it the way I do. If we come into edit mode, you can see we're in edit mode of this home page here. I am going to, before we edit the home page, click this little paintbrush in the top right, the site styles, and you can see here this is our theme that it's built out for us. But if we want to customize any little piece of it, you see we've got fonts, colors, buttons, forms, not as important, and then miscellaneous. This is for like your animations and spacing and stuff. So for this, I'm going to change a quick color just to show you how it's done, and then we'll get into editing the template itself. I know I picked playful, but I think this is a little bit too playful for my liking. So I'm going to edit palette, and I'm going to change this first color to white. I think that'll make me feel a little bit better. It's a little bit more clean. It's still a lot of color, but we're going to roll with it. We're going playful. I'm going to keep the fonts. They're kind of cool, kind of fun. Buttons. You get 3 different button styles on Squarespace. You can customize them all individually, or you can change the whole set of them. You can see if you hover over these, you can see the whole button pack. For the sake of saving your time, I'm going to leave them the way they are, but that's where you can change them and style them. Same with the fonts. If you want to change the fonts, come on in here and you can change everything individually. Okay, now let's close out of the site styles. I'm going to save. And now, like I said, let's go into this header, the main menu up here. If I hover over it, you can see I get edit site header. And you'll see the page grays out and we can work on the header up here. So there's lots of places you can click around and edit the header. So if you have a logo, just click right on the name of your whatever business or brand up here. And then again, click the pencil icon and you can upload your logo image here. And if you have a separate image that you want to use for mobile logo, you can add that in as well. Once you do, you'll be able to size that as well. You can also, let's come into edit design of the header. You can change the layout. Just by clicking, it will immediately update to whatever you've selected. I do use this one a lot though, this layout. You can change the spacing of the links. The spacing, the element spacing is not going to show you much because there's nothing to separate here. But if I were to add in like a shopping cart or something, it would space that out from the navigation. Effects, a drop shadow. It's kind of hard to see in edit mode since the page is already in a darker color. You can add borders. There are so many ways to customize this, even after it's been built with AI. Height, I do like to condense that a little bit. And then full verse inset. Makes a small change here on my laptop, but it does make a bigger difference if you're on a bigger screen. And last but not least, color. Right now it's set as adaptive, so it's going to take on whatever color I have the first section on the page set to be. So you can see that this light blue here, whatever we want to call this, aqua, is behind my picture here, and so it's also taking on the same color in the header. I could set a gradient, or I could set it solid if I want it to be the exact same color across every page on the website. But we're going playful, so let's stick with adaptive, why don't we? Okay, now I told you there was lots of things to click around and play with in the header. We did the logo, we did the design of the header. Now we can add elements over here on the left. Everything is spread out. You can add a button. You can add your social media links. If you're going to have a store, you can add a cart. You can also customize this to be an icon rather than the word cart, just like this. There's all sorts of carts to choose from. You can go back to add elements. If people are going to be needing to log into your website, you can add that here. Change languages, all sorts of settings here. Let's do the button and the social links. To customize the button, again, just click on the button, hit the pencil button. You can change what the button says and where it links to. You can also change which button style you want to use. Okay. Let me know in the comments if you're keeping up with me. We built the template, customized the styling, and customized the header. Now let's go down the home page and see what we've got to work with. You can see now that I've clicked out of the header, you can see, there we go, you can see that drop shadow on the navigation up there. I'm going to turn that off. Just click remove. Okay. Now back into the page just by clicking on this top picture. Okay. There's a lot to work with here. Like I said, if you have an idea of what you are trying to portray, trying to communicate, that would be the best way to attack this, in my opinion. So it's going to give you a picture and an image, or a picture and an image. It's going to give you a picture and some text. Is that what you want? I don't know. You can customize it because that's what it's given you, or you can completely rebuild it. If you want to just customize what the template has given you, click on the image, click the pencil icon. I think you're catching on to the theme here. Click on something and then click to edit it. You can delete this picture, add an image, and you can upload your own. If you've already been working on your site, you can browse through what you've uploaded so far, or you can browse stock images, and these are all free to use. Let's see if I type in consulting what comes up. I'm gonna quickly scan and see if I see anything in these fun, crazy brand colors it's given me. Let's go with this, because why not? Playful, right? Kind of blends in with the color up top. This little white circle here is how you don't have to crop your images, but you can change the focal point of your images. And then, if you want some more SEO tips from me here, don't leave these undone. This alternate file name and this image alt text, you definitely want to add that in. Let's type this in as light bulb, and then we'll say something like that. Okay. It looks like it added an overlay to it, which I'm not crazy about. Let's go into design, and we'll turn off that overlay. It does help you be able to read the text a little bit better, but I don't like the colors that it turned into like that. Okay, so now if we're going to keep just customizing the template as it's been done, I'm going to drag this down a little bit, and let's say website consulting. You can either change the color. If you're just going to change the color of a word or two here and there, you can highlight it and click this color option here and change the colors directly right here. Or if you come to this whole section of itself, hover over it and click Edit Section. I'm going to click Colors. You can click through and see what it would look like in all of your different brand colors. I think I liked this one the best, so let's roll with that. And there we go, that's our customized header up at the top. Explore your services. This is going to work exactly the same as this section did up here. You can just click, you can type more text, you can adjust the sizing and the spacing of your text blocks, you can highlight things all at once and drag and drop them. Again, to replace the images, click on it, click the pencil icon, delete it, replace it, add a stock image, whatever you want to do. And just go through and you can replace the content here in your template. Now, if you get to a point where you're like, I need something different or something more, if you click on, you're just hovering over any section here on this page and you click Add Section, you can see here it brings up a bunch of more pre-styled sections for you to choose from. So I'm kind of scrolling through the intro sections as you can see here. But if I want to add some testimonials here on my homepage, which would be a great idea, then you can scroll through some pre-made testimonial section designs. So again, this is a great way to build your own website, but not have to start from complete scratch. If you don't know the Squarespace editor, this is a great way to get started. So let's add some testimonials here. To customize this, hover over it, click Edit Content, go into Content, and then you can see all the quotes here. You can click into and edit what it says. And to edit the colors, we're going to do Edit Section. Again, you can make it all the same color background. That seems to be what people are asking me for a lot these days. I personally am still a fan of like alternating 2 colors or 3 colors or 2 colors and throwing in one more. So just click around and play with it and see what you might like. If I do Edit Section here, Colors, and that is how you generate your own template using the Squarespace Blueprint AI. We customize our branding, our header, our homepage. We added a new section. Let's see, let's save, exit. If I come into pages over here in the left sidebar, you can see here are all of these pages that we told Squarespace that we wanted to include on our site. If you want to include home up here in your main navigation, just drag and drop it up here into the main navigation list. And the same way I did that, you can reorder your pages and it will show you right over here as soon as you do that. Something else I do want to show you, if I go back to edit mode, edit site header, click on your social links, click on the pencil icon, you're going to want to make sure that you delete these. If I click into it, delete social link, delete, add social link, and type in your own so that your website is not linking to Squarespace's social media. Just like that, and it will generate the icon for you. Click exit, and then you can do the exact same thing for all of the other pages that it has created for your site: about, services, and contact. Let's actually look at a form though. There's forms all across all of these pages. If I click edit, you can see the form's already built for you. And if you've created your Squarespace account, they know your email, it will likely, let's see, hit the pencil icon and hit storage. You can see it's already set up to send me the email notification, but if you want to change where these emails are sending these form submissions, you can change that in right here. You can also do additional storage and connect it to any of these other options as well. So we will save and exit out of that. And we will exit out of this. let's look at the footer as well. Let's do edit, and just like we did the header, if you click into the footer, edit site footer, you can see it's highlighting the footer for us to edit. Do edit section, change the colors, come back into design. We can change the spacing of it. Can move the text around, do whatever makes most sense to you and your brand. I'm going to do save, exit, we'll go back to the home page. We will go into the full screen preview mode. Here is the very, very rough draft of what it looks like to build your website with the Squarespace Blueprint AI tool. And then, as always, when you're creating these new pages and editing your site, come into mobile view, and you're going to want to scroll through here and see if you need to change anything on the mobile site. The mobile is, you can edit it separately from, let's see what's happening here. Here we go, drag that up. You can edit it separately from the desktop view so that they can be appropriate for each of their devices. Not sure why this darker block is there, but we're gonna roll with it. Save, exit, and there you have it. I'm actually just now noticing down here it says your trial ends in 365 days, so they're giving me a whole year of a trial. I'm actually used to getting 6 months, which is already extended from just the 2 weeks that they usually give, just like the general public. So I don't know if you're using the AI tool, what you might get. I am a Squarespace Circle member, Squarespace expert, Squarespace authorized trainer, all the titles. So I do get extra time here on my trials. I don't know what yours might look like, but that is a very long trial right here. When you are ready to go live, once you've created your site the way you like it, you hit subscribe right here, pick your plan. As it says right here, most popular. This also I found the most common, but I have a whole separate video on what these plans all mean and what might be best for you so that you can pick the best plan to move forward with. You will need this in order to launch your website and make it live. But right now you're just focusing on creating your website, so I won't go into all the details on that because I also have a whole nother video on what to do when you're ready to go live. I will, however, tell you, once you create this, say you work on it for a little bit and you want to come back to it later in the day or another day, to get back to this site that you've created, you can go to account.squarespace.com, or you can come, and you see it generates this really weird built-in URL for you here. You can come to owlhaddock.squarespace.com, whatever yours might be, and it will log you in. You can also, if I go to home, I have to move a little bit here. If I click on this little settings gear down here in the sidebar, and then into domains and email, into domains, lots of clicking to get around to things here. If I come to customize this built-in domain, but you can customize your site ID right here to make it match your branding, hit save, and then once you do, you can go to whatever that is, .squarespace.com/config, and it will log you in right to this editing mode with the sidebar as long as you haven't logged out, and you can pick right back up where you left off. If you've made it to this point in the video, hopefully that means this was helpful, that you liked it, so give it a like, subscribe to my channel, and as you keep working on your website, I have so many other videos here for you to teach you about things that you can do on the back end, how to set up payments, how to go live, and I also have some design ideas for you, like how to customize and style your text to make it fun, or how to do a gradient background. So I have all of the tutorials here for you to help you create the best site possible. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.